Hi, everyone, and welcome to Session 3, Episode 2 of the 2021 USA TKD US Open. I'm National Coach Barbara Brand, along with everybody's most favorite Poomsae pal, Miyako Yerick. Miyako, you ready to go?
I'm ready. We have a ton of divisions tonight. It's a whole bunch of our dragon and youth color belts. We get some black belt action. They're all very adorable and very serious athletes. So I think we should just get going and check them out.
Let's go.
Okay, and kicking us off tonight, we have the female dragon yellow belt finals. I think we have about 3 athletes in this division. There are your judges.
It's me.
First up, we have Kaylee O from New Jersey. She trains at Apex Tiger Martial Arts with her coach, Giduk Gun.
I think these are probably the cutest yellow belts that we will see here. The dragons.
Hello.
Do you know how old these dragons are, Coach Brand?
I think that they were just born between the months, hang on just a sec, 6.44. They were born last February or March.
Well, Kaylee is 7 years old.
Right. Dragons are 6 and 7 years
There
old.
we go.
Only been on Earth for 6 years, and the first 3 of those, they were in diapers. So pretty amazing that they're out here performing.
Well, Kaylee has a great interest in
Hello.
singing, dancing, and cooking, and she wants to become a YouTube content creator to help other kids with baking and cooking.
Of course she does. And she is a 6.57 for her second Poomsae. And she's going to finish up with a 6.505. Up next, we have Emma Yang. Emma is from California. She trains with Kim Boyan.
This is, of course, Emma's first time competing at the US Open. She's 6 years old. I'm sure they're all just starting Taekwondo about yesterday. And Emma enjoys gardening and gymnastics.
Oh, I thought you were going to say gardening and engineering for a second. These kids. So Emma gets a 6.43.
Ooh, this is tight.
Yeah, it's very tight because Kaylee O received a 6.44. It was super tight. You know, a lot of athletes at this age have trouble just memorizing the Poomsae. So these guys are doing a fantastic job getting such high scores.
Yeah, well, they're very accurate. They are basically, they're doing everything right. They're pivoting on the right spot, little bounces here and there, but I am very impressed with these first 2 athletes.
Oh, look at that, pivoting on the balls of the feet. Awesome. That becomes very important later. So when you start off with good habits, it just makes everything easier. And a 6.77, that is a little higher than the Kaylee O. So it looks like Emma Yang has just slid into first place. Big score, 6.6. We'll see if Sadie Snyder can catch up with those 2. She's also from New Jersey, training at Apex Tiger Martial Arts with her coach, Giduk Gun. Got a little bit of heel lift here on those front stances. She's going to need to take care of that. Looking really good on the memory part of the Poomsae.
And of course, I think they only know 2 forms, Taeguk Iljang and Taeguk Ijang. So doing Taeguk Ijang here first, followed up by Taeguk Iljang.
She's really reaching up for those front kicks. She gets a 6.1 or Taeguk Ijang.
시작.
That's the tough part of the form, right? Miyako, how do you approach this one?
Well, she has the great flexibility there. I think she just has to try and remember not to step before she does that kick. We don't want to have that extra little pre-step there. I think that might be one of the biggest deductions she'll get, but doing a good job otherwise.
Yeah, 6.23, but it's easier to step before you kick, right?
It is easier, it's true.
So it's interesting how the kids kind of try to solve the problem by taking that step and boosting themselves up. So Sadie is going to get a 6.165. So now here are our standings in the female dragon yellow belt division. Emma Yang takes it, followed by Kaylee O and Sadie Snyder.
And now we're going to follow it up with our female dragon green belt final. We're going to have a bunch of divisions in this episode today because these divisions are a little bit smaller with our young athletes in the color belt divisions.
First up, we have Kiari Izumoto from Hawaii. She trains at Oahu Taekwondo Center with Coach Brian McCutcheon. Now, this is not an easy Poomsae Taeguk Sajang, probably the highest Poomsae that each of these athletes knows.
Yeah, doing a good job.
Yeah, Kiari was able to not only remember the whole Poomsae, but do it very, very strong. 6.54 for Kiari. Nice height on that front kick. Just needs to make sure she bends her knee on the way up. Real good flexibility.
Well, I like her curtains as a backdrop. Everybody seems to be going for those curtains there as a nice, clean, solid background.
Yeah, she gets a good score, 6.67. Yeah, that's a little bit of investment in time and money, right? People have had to convert a lot of different spaces or home spaces, gym spaces. 6.605 for Kiari. And up next we have Lana Lauren. Lana is from Texas. She trains at World Taekwondo Center with her coach Elva Adams. Very dramatic presentation, really showing each motion. Some significant pauses at the end.
What size uniform do you think she's wearing?
Maybe 000.
000, and it looks hemmed on the pants.
It does. That's awesome. So that is Lana Lauren from Texas. And she gets a 6.4, so just under Kiari's score.
Well, Lana, besides Taekwondo, which she's done for at least a year now, because she has competed in lots of online tournaments last year, but she practices ballet and hip hop. She likes to plant flowers and fruits in her backyard with her dad. And she is in kindergarten and already got accepted into the gifted and talented program at her school.
Wow, that's fantastic. She has these great presets. I can see, what did you say she was into dancing?
Yeah, ballet and hip hop.
Well, that makes sense because she has a lot of rhythm as she's going through these different lines. So Laura got a 6.4 for her first one. And now a 6.27. These athletes are doing a good job getting over the 5 range, right?
Yeah.
She finishes a 6.335. So here are our standings in the female dragon green belt division with Kiari Izumoto taking it, followed by Lana Lauren.
Now we're going to continue with our Dragon Action Female Red Belt Finals.
This is Alyssa Chung.
Good.
Alyssa is the sole athlete in this division. Alyssa is from Elite Taekwondo Center, and she's coached by Kongil Bay.
Ooh, opening up with Yukjong.
Right, not easy to do.
Wow, great flexibility. Whew, fast too. Holy cow.
Control, right, those are just flying up there.
Alyssa's already competed in like 3 online tournaments last year, and she won first place at the AAU Virtual Nationals. She competed at the 2020 Seoul Cup Online International, where she got first place there as well.
Well, it's really paying off. She had something that a lot of young athletes don't have, and that is a clean retraction on her front kicks. She held that retraction.
Big score.
6.83. That is the biggest score we've seen in this episode.
Alyssa is just 7 years old, but she has such good control. She also, outside of Taekwondo, enjoys drawing, making crafts, singing, cooking, and baking. We got a lot of bakers here too.
Where do they find the time?
Well, maybe they can help me. I tried to make vegan macarons the other day and I failed terribly. So if any of you young bakers out there can help me out, please let me know your tips on vegan macarons.
It kind of doesn't even sound good though, Miyako.
It's made out of chickpea liquid. You can make a meringue from chickpea liquid.
That's, I think Miyako does need help with that. So this is great job on that form as well. She got a 6.83 for the first. There were some minor little accuracy things on this one, but look, she scores the exact same. And she's going to finish up with a 6.83. And she's going to take the female dragon red belt division.
Okay, we're moving now to our tiger divisions. We have the female yellow belt finals.
Right, our tigers are 8 and 9 years old. First up, we have Madeline Kim. Madeline is from California. She trains at KS Choi Taekwondo Center with her coach, Danny Choi.
Look how intentional she is. These young athletes are so good.
She's almost like stepping down into the floor with every step. Like really, yeah, like a very clear finish. Very good for Madeline Kim. It's a 6.84, and now that's our new high for this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the referees are happy to give that score, whether it's for a red belt or a yellow belt, if the athlete is skilled.
Madeline is the youngest female accepted in a competition team at her dojang and was voted the best female student of the year.
Wow.
Outside of Taekwondo, she plays the harp and is studying for her first harp level 1 certification. She says both Taekwondo and harp has helped her get through the stress of COVID and endless Zoom class meetings.
Really? I wonder what you do to get certified in harp. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Find out. 6.93. Wow, look at that. Even higher for the second form. Madeline Kim's combined score is 6.885. And this is Filene Geller, and Filene is from Maryland, trains at East West Taekwondo with her coach, Parshatam Sharma.
Very deliberate. She also competed at the AAU Virtual Winter National Championships both in ITF forms and WT forms, where she got a gold and a silver in those two different styles.
Oh, she got a 6.03. She's going at a somewhat slower pace, but I understand why coaches do that, to make sure they're making the transitions correct, not having a lot of heel popping or turning on the balls of their feet and such. So it's easier to catch it. It's easier for them to monitor themselves when they're not going super fast.
She has some really nice finishing stances, but I think, like you said, a little bit of bouncing kind of to settle in them and then going a little bit slow. But she's definitely going to be able to speed that up as she gets more comfortable with these forms.
Yeah, you saw her trying to do that hard turn up there at the top and really trying to stay on the balls of her feet. Her heels had to come up to do it, but I admire her slowing it down to make it work.
Well, she also does piano, art reading, but also computer programming.
Good end, getting a 6.0. So that follows her 6.03. So she's going to finish with a 6.015. And here are standings in the female, our female Tiger yellow belt division. Madeline Kim in first, taking the division, followed by Aileen Geller.
Now we're going to continue with the Tiger division, having our female green belt division. And this is a pretty big division here.
It is. It's stacked. Not a full rack, but stacked just the same. So our first competitor is Kayla Bayuden from Illinois. She trains at White Tiger Martial Arts Center with her coach, Sheik Lee. So it looks like we have 6 athletes in this division. Am I right, Miyako?
Yeah, 6. Had to count there.
Nice reach on her kicks. Would have been strong work on Tego Kiljung. She gets a big score, 6.76. And again, all the athletes in the Tiger division are 8 and 9 years old. She's got some nice highlighted front kicks there. The way she positions them, she really shows the audience, look, I'm doing a front kick right now, and pay attention. That knife hand section is difficult to navigate for new students. Those knife hand blocks from side to side. You could probably extend those a little bit more, but now finishing up on this last line.
A couple of heel pops on some of those harder transitions, but really nice front kicks and good overall intention.
Yeah, often young athletes have a difficult time with the ending of that Poomsae because they confuse it with Tego Kiljung's ending and Tego Ijung's ending.
Yeah.
All together. She gets a 6.64 to follow that 6.76. It was probably that knife hand section that brought her down just a bit. She gets a 6.7. So I think maybe the athlete that navigates that the best, and Tego Samjang might be our winner. This is Samantha Sasamura, and Samantha comes from Hawaii. She trains at Oahu Taekwondo Center with her coach, Ryan McCutcheon.
Samantha competes in both Poomsae and sparring, and she won gold medals at the Maui Open in 2019 for both of those.
Samantha gets a 6.4 for her first form.
Sam loves reading. She loves and has read, reread, and reread again all of the Harry Potter books.
Great.
She's currently enjoying the Wings of Fire book series and also plays soccer and has joined her first club soccer team called the Shockers.
Well, it's pretty great that she's reading all the Harry Potters over and over. I think that's well above her reading level as an 8 and 9-year-old.
Yeah, she's just 9. I started when they came out, so I was like 9 at the first one.
And she's going to get a 6.43, but oftentimes it's parents who are reading those to their kids at that age. In fact, that by herself is pretty good. So she's going to finish with a 6.415. This is Amelia Friedemann. Wow, what a great setting. Amelia is from Oklahoma. She trains with the Wolf Pack.
Oh yeah, the Wolf Pack.
She's a wolf.
Amelia started Taekwondo 2 years ago.
Yeah, she gets a 5.5 for her first form.
And she's a member of the Black Belt Club. And she also, at her dojang, gets to learn weapons. So she's already competed with kamas and also has won first place with board breaking twice.
So that section right there, that's what I'm talking about. The athletes can navigate that knife hand to punch section, and they're probably going to do very well in this division.
Look, there's like a rock wall on the right. This is a super cool gym.
Yeah.
Hopefully Amelia has a great time there training.
And she gets a 5.2. And a 5.35 to finish up. Yeah, she has a really good memory for the forms. So now just a few details to add to that. This is Kara Katsuyama, and Kara is from Hawaii. No, how is that possible? Yeah, I was looking because it was Samantha I thought was from Oahu, but this is her teammate.
Yeah, we're seeing a ton of athletes from this dojang in Hawaii. Those black curtains there in the background, I'm starting to recognize here.
Awesome. So Kara, also from Oahu Taekwondo Center, coached by, says here, Mr. and Mrs. Brian McCutcheon. 6.73. Now that is a huge score right there, up there with Kayla's, our first athlete.
Well, Kara plays the piano. She also likes swimming at the beach, which a lot of our athletes from Hawaii have already said they get, easy access to the beach out there on the islands. And she also likes to play the game called Roblox, which I haven't heard of, but I'm seeing a lot of our young athletes enjoy playing. And she also likes singing and dancing any way she wants and playing in the front and backyard.
What did you say about anything she wants?
She likes singing and dancing any way she wants.
Oh, well, good for her. That's how I feel about it too. You should be able to dance any way you want.
Yeah.
So Kara gets a 6.8 for her second form. She'll finish with a 6.765.
That sneaks her into first place.
준비.
Yeah, but Kayla's score was 6.7, so Kara just overtook that. This is Sage Stewart Smith. Sage is from Massachusetts. She trains at Premier Sport Taekwondo with her coach Taeyoung Kim.
This is a cool paint job they have there in the dojang.
It really is.
Sage also earned a spot on her team's, or her dojang's demo team.
That's hard to do at such a young belt at a green belt level. That's pretty tough. Look at this, she gets a 6.67. I think demo team and Poomsae go hand in hand, so smart of her to do both.
시작.
Sage also loves to play soccer, and she attends acro and tumbling classes, always challenging herself with new activities. During quarantine, that means that she taught herself how to roller skate and pogo stick.
Pogo stick, that's great. Nice to see kids these days doing pogo stick.
She is quite flexible.
Yeah, she really is. I think that she has really good potential for, these high kicking techniques. One thing she can just fix real quick is that non-moving hand. So the one that's on your hip, sometimes she carries it pretty low. So maybe put it at the belt or, above your hip anyway. So she gets a 6.4 for that one. When it's below the hip or drifting down toward the leg, we got to pull it up a little bit. It's a 6.535. Our final competitor in the division is Gabrielle Peng.
준비
And Gabrielle is from California. She trains with Team Elite USA.
시작.
Their coach, Victor Chung.
Gabrielle competed in our summer Poomsae tournament last year in the Tiger division, where she got a silver medal.
Well, one thing she's doing that a lot of these athletes haven't been able to do in this division is she's coordinating both
Pedal.
hands, the one coming and the one going. And some athletes are just simply letting that hand just kind of drop back toward their hip. She's pulling at the same rate of speed, and look at that score, 6. So it makes her techniques look a lot cleaner. When one rotates, the other one rotates as well, and they both do it at the same time.
시작.
Not right at the beginning of the movement, but toward the end of the movement.
Nice high front kicks here.
Yeah.
Well, her friends call her Gabby, and she says she's fascinated with gems and crystals in her science class.
Well, look at those kicks. I'm kind of fascinated by some of her hand techniques at this young age, really getting it.
pedal.
Good job to Gabrielle Peng from California. So she got the high score here. She was able to navigate that section in Samjang a little stronger than most of them. She gets a 6.87. It's a pretty good little gap. She finishes with a 6.835. Here are standings at the end of this female Tiger Green Belt division. Gabrielle Peng in first, followed by Kara Katayama, Kayla Bayuden, Sage Stewart-Smith, Samantha Sasamura, and Amelia Friedman.
Okay, continuing these Tiger divisions here with the female blue belt finals.
Up first, we have Sijin Melody Louis, and she is from New York. She trains at East Taekwondo with her coach, Chen Chao Lu. Really high reach on her front kicks and the round kick as well.
Yeah.
She has USA on her back. I'm not aware of blue belts representing the US. Does she have something in her record there, Miyako? Maybe there's something I'm not aware of, maybe a different.
Well, she's competed in international tournaments like the Lentz Taekwondo online. So that's a pretty international tournament, and you are allowed to wear, your country on your uniform.
Yeah, well, that's great. So she did rep US.
시작.
And all that hard work on all those online tournaments really paying off. And I think when we get back together again, everybody's going to be really happy that they went through that experience, and then maybe more appreciate the in-person events.
Melody likes drawing, playing games, and doing sports. She did a great job here today at our US Open.
시작.
She sure did. She had a 6.56 to start us off, following that with an even higher 6.77. So we have 3 athletes in the division, so let's see how they all stack up against each other. Up next is going to be Cora Kosefred. Cora is from Massachusetts. She trains at Achieve Taekwondo with her coach, Mark Waddell. I don't remember any other athletes from Achieve in the US Open. Do you remember them, Miyako?
I don't. I don't recognize this Dojang. But nice to have her here.
Right. Welcome.
She has competed in the New England Open Taekwondo Championships going back to 2018, and she's just 7 years old. So she started competing when she was like 4 or something. And she is very passionate about competing and excelling in the activities most important to her, She says whether it's school, taekwondo, ballet, or karting.
And she is 6.13. So you mentioned her age. So this is a tiger division, right?
Right.
So she must have just had a birthday. You need to be 8 and 9 in this.
Turning 8 or 9 this year.
Oh,
Yeah, so she could have a birthday in December, but still competes as an 8-year-old.
Still 7.
Yeah, it's still early in the year, so we're going to get a lot of athletes who haven't quite turned that birthday yet.
I always like to bring that up as if I'm grandma watching from the audience. Because how did she get into this division? Well, you gotta check the dates of when somebody might turn that tiger age. She's pre-tiger, kind of, sort of, but kind of a tiger at the same time. 6.4 for Cora. She'll really get into her tiger-ishness next year, probably. 6.265. And full tiger mode at 9. This is Jessica Bailey. Jessica's from Colorado. She trains at the Korean Academy of Taekwondo with her coach, Catherine Tong.
Oh.
So, Miyako, will all these athletes be able to go to our Grand Prix series?
They are definitely eligible because anybody can go to our Grand Prix series. Our Grand Prix is coming up in June. There are 3 regional events. We're missing out on states because we're still trying to finish out this COVID pandemic. But starting in June, we're going to have in-person events in Las Vegas, and then in Texas, and then in South Carolina. So make sure you're checking which one is in your region.
Right, because athletes will go to just one as an individual. They can go to one closest to them, 6.06. So our first Grand Prix is going to be at the Mirage in Las Vegas for everybody out west. That will be from June 11th to the 13th. Our second one will be, as Miyako mentioned, in Texas, in Fort Worth from June 18th to the 20th. And then lastly, our Eastern Grand Prix will be in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, the weekend of June 25th through 27th.
Jessica's doing a pretty good job here. Some of these stances a little narrow, throwing her balance just a little off, but she was very careful to do that good back stance to front stance transition. So good job to her and her coach, Kat Tong.
Right, I liked her pace. She's being very careful, making sure that he was trying to get those transitions as correct as possible. So she'll finish with a 6.03. And here are our standings. Susan Melody Way in first, followed by Cora Kostfret and Jessica Bailey.
And now our Tiger female red belt finals. Already so many divisions here in this episode. How fun.
준비.
I think we have this Carly Dang from Connecticut. She trains at World Champion Taekwondo in Bradford with her coach, Han Jun-so. I think we have a full rack, don't we? Miyako,
yeah,
and this.
I think this is a full 8 here.
Yep. It's going to be very competitive.
Well, these are still tigers, so they're still 8 or 9 years old, but they're red belts, so they must have been doing Taekwondo for at least, a year or so at this point. Each school does their belt testing slightly differently, but they have a bit of experience at this age already.
We're going to be 8 years old, right?
Right.
Oh.
And Carly gets a 6.16.
시작.
I like her hairstyle. Some fun pigtail braids. Ooh. a little bit cross there on that stance.
Tough getting back on that line there. Doing a good job.
Ooh, good flexibility.
Ball.
Right, so some of these athletes probably second grade, third grade,
Sure.
right in there.
Command.
Did a really good job with the memory work, balance work at such a young age. She gets a 6.04. And she'll finish with a 6.1. Up next, we have Leila Gonzalez. Leila is from Texas. She trains at World Taekwondo Center with her coach, both coaches, Elva Adam and Lauren Lee.
This is a hard form to start out with, Taeguk Chiljang. There's so many little techniques we've talked about, even challenging for some of our cadet athletes, you know, that 12 to 14 group. So here, having the red belts get to start off with it, with these moves that they haven't done before, just helps them get ready for those divisions once they hit black belt.
Right, she gets a 6.1. So they get kind of like the big gross motor movement part of it. It's those fine nuanced things that are more difficult. And Taeguk Chiljang's really tough at this age.
시작.
And Taeguk Ojang is not too much easier for these athletes at this age. A lot going on with these hand techniques, a lot of coordination that they have to work their way through.
Definitely. But the great part about starting out in the Tiger division or even our Dragon divisions is that it's pretty low pressure. I'm sure they think it's a lot of pressure, but hopefully still fun tournament experience here. And then of course we're recording these tournaments. So they got to do it as many times as they want. But once we get back to those in-person live events, you get one go. So hopefully they use this as a way to get ready for those in-person tournaments again.
She gets a 6.17. Oh, many athletes at this age, if we start doing it very, very young like this, it's just kind of natural for them. And oftentimes they don't get nervous at all. 6.135. They just think of it as another thing they're doing that day. This is Sydney Bai, and Sydney is from Nevada. She trains at Spirit Taekwondo with her coach, Yasmin Brown.
Well, so we saw some athletes competing in this space before, but they were much taller. Here, she has tons of room. At this age, her legs are a little bit shorter. The taller athletes looked a little bit squished, but this is like plenty of space for her to really go through this. And she is being very careful and very accurate here. This is great.
Right.
She started competing in the 6 to 7 year olds division when she was a blue belt. So she already has experience.
Right, so maybe she learned there, slow it down, make it clean, make the lines really nice and clear to see. She gets a 6.6, so easily the highest score so far in the division.
시작.
Must have been cold that day she reported because she has little black tights on underneath her robot pants.
Right. She is also a huge Harry Potter fan, and she also loves swimming, biking, playing piano, and drawing. Here are those side kicks. Pretty good. Got the retraction.
She definitely has a plan for everything, right? She's doing it according to how she prepared. Like not much wiggle room, not much wiggle room in how she does it. She just does it this one way and it looks very clean. 6.57. And Sydney's going to finish with a 6.585 and now into first place. Up next, we have Leora Kokoda. And Leora is from California. Trains with her coach, Kim Boyan. She looks tiny in this big space.
Well, it's funny you say that because her sister, who is 2.5 years younger than her, weighs more than her.
Oh,
and
wow.
her parents, who submitted fun fact, says Leora is small but mighty.
Ah, that's the best.
Haro.
Yeah, she looked like she was throwing some pretty good power. It's a little bit more difficult to see it at this distance. It's a 6.74. Even though we're both in California here, still hard for me to see it. You just need to get a little closer to the camera.
시작.
Right, this angle might work for the senior one athletes, but when they're so small on the screen, we just wish they were a little bigger to see all the details and the power come through. Leora is half Korean and half Russian, and she loves reading Artemis Fowl books and skiing.
바로. 차렷. 경례.
Leora got a big score, 6.74 for the first one. And now look at this, 6.83. Huge score for the second. She's going to finish with a 6.785 and now a handy lead over Sydney Bai. This is Rachel Park. Rachel is from Texas, trains at World Champion Taekwondo with her coach, Nan Yo Chu.
Well, so these red belts, they're all from the US. I think all of our athletes so far have been from the US. But because it's the finals and they're all in the US, they are ordered here by their ranking points. So I think we are sort of expecting scores to go up here, although I think these athletes maybe have only been able to compete in the Summer of Poomsae as a sanctioned event. Looks like Rachel on the other side was looking straight instead of off over her right shoulder, so she might get a major deduction there. But I think we might see the scores go up as we go through this division.
Oh, and Rachel gets a 6.4. That's the second highest score so far for the first form.
I think Sydney got a 6.6, so third highest here.
Oh, third highest.
Rachel Park competed in the Puerto Rico International Virtual Open Poomsae Challenge and won first place there. She also competed at the 2020 Online Taekwondo Poomsae Championships Korean Culture Center in Los Angeles, where she won third place.
Rachel got a 6.4, and it's really amazing how much the parents and the coaches are supporting these athletes during COVID to give them as much experience as possible. And for the second form, 6.43 to follow up that 6.4. And finishes with a 6.415. This is Ariana Lee. Ariana is from Idaho. I'm not quite sure what club she's from. None is listed here, but she's in a fabulous space at home, looks like.
Yeah, it looks like these mats are going to be enough space for her. She competed in her first Taekwondo competition last year, and I think it was the Summer of Poomsae. So how fun is that? She got third place in the female tiger division.
Right, she's plenty of space on those mats. She can use them for maybe I don't know, a couple more years of school. Maybe when she was in 6th grade, she'll have to get more, more anyway. It's Ariana Lee from Idaho, getting a 6.7.
So Leora had a slightly higher score on that first form. Let's see if Ariana can boost up here.
Right, Leora had a 6.74, so pretty close.
Ariana's looking very comfortable here, moving through. She also loves playing the piano and doing ballet. And she also likes to take care of her pet hamster, whose name is Honeybun.
Oh, that's a great name for a hamster. Really solid take-a-go jump from Ariana Lee. If she got a 6.7, she could get a good jump.
Higher here, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, another 6.7. So she got a pair. And here are standings so far in the female Tiger Red Belt division. Leora Kokodov in first, followed by Ariana Lee, Sydney Bai, Rachel Park, Layla Gonzalez, and Carly Dang. We have 2 more athletes in the division. The first is Bethany Min. Bethany is from North Carolina. She trains at Kim's Taekwondo Center with her coach, Soo Young Kim.
Well, here's a new take on our fierce spheres.
Right. Look at that. Fierce spheres be ribboned. Yeah, a little angular on those too.
Nice quick spin there, and wow, look at that big jump. Short on the front stance, but really jumps here. Whoa.
And she gets a 6.6. I'm going to go ahead and enter her as a nominee for the Fiercest Spheres Poomsae Award that we're going to do towards the end of the year. You know, we had other categories there too. We had the coolest setting, right? Sheena Kim, really cool setting. And the Sitarams have a really cool placement. And then we had the kick your own face. And Connie Lee was definitely in that category. We have to add some others. Best eyebrows, of course, Kathy Doe. So we
well, Bethany has some great kicks here.
Sure does. Nice height. An overall good understanding of the Poomsae. That's Bethany Min from North Carolina. 6.7. So that's the same score that Ariana Lee had just before her and just under Leora's score of 6.74. So it's tight here at the top. Oh, so she's going to finish with a 6.65. This is Amelia Salas. Amelia is from California. She trains with Team M Community Poomsae program with Alvin Jung and Albert Jung.
Nice job turning those shoulders in both of those scissor blocks.
Nice timing here on the back line.
Pro.
Amelia is going to start off with a 6.53.
So we have about 5 scores here, all bunched around the 6.4 to 6.7, 6.8 range. So that's pretty good. I think that means this is a pretty competitive division here.
It really is. And Amelia's showing why with those nice strong kicks coming to the front. Nice extension on the side kick.
Bro.
Missed the stomp there at the end. I'm not sure if that was an actual stomp because it looked more like a long kind of sliding step. So I'm hoping that the referees registered that as a stomp. She gets a 6.54. And she'll finish with a 6.535. Here are standings now. Lior Kokodov in first, followed by Ariana Lee, Bethany Min, Sydney Bai, Amelia Salas, Rachel Park, Leila Gonzalez, and Carly Dang.
And now we're going to have our female Tiger black belt final.
This is
준비.
Stella Flickinger. Stella is from Illinois. She trains with Flying V Martial Arts with her coach Vincent Viena. Starting off with Paul Jung, they haven't known this Poomsae for a ton of time, so it's going to be interesting to see all of their approaches. The last two forms they probably learned were choreo and Paul Jung.
Right, I'm just impressed they're black belts here at 8 to 9 years old. Must have started nice and young and had good support to be able to be at this level already.
Right. Good reach on her kicks.
Well, Stella won US Nationals as a red belt dragon. So now here she is as a black belt tiger. And we'll see how she does.
바로
How cool to have been both a dragon and a tiger, and 6.4 to start us off. So we have 5 athletes in this division. One from Illinois, 2 from North Carolina, a Minnesota, and 1 from Virginia.
Oh, wow, fun. Here we get to do Tago jump.
So they were probably very happy when they saw this.
Stella started playing the viola at 3.5 years old. So she's already been playing for over 5 years.
Wow, good finish on Tago Ijang for Stella Flickinger.
차렷.
So she got a 6.4 for the first Poomsae. And now another to get a pair. Up next, we have Nicklin Pennington. Oh, would you look at that?
Look at this hairstyle.
She's from North Carolina and trains at Tiger Kim's World Class Taekwondo with her coach, Handang Young.
Well, Abigail Scrawback from the same dojang, we have a new candidate here for the best fierce spheres out of North Carolina.
Yeah, unless Abigail does it again this year, she won't be in this category because we're looking at 2021. What she did in 2020.
Although actually, isn't Bethany Min, who we saw in the red belt division, also from North Carolina? She also had those fierce spheres.
Let's see, was she? She's from North Carolina. Nicklin Pennington starting us off with a 6.57.
Well, she has some great just focus here and power coming through. She does remind me of Abigail.
Yes, when I first saw her, I just thought she was a mini Abigail Scrabbat, but that's not really fair to either one of them to say that because they're both fine athletes in their own right. And look,
Right.
she's fierce though.
She really is. She earned her black belt in August, and this is her first USA Taekwondo tournament. She's looking great here. She also likes to draw and wants to become a Disney animator when she grows up.
That's Nicklin Pennington. She got a 6.57 and now a little bit higher, 6.6. So she'll finish with a 6.585.
준비.
Up next, we have Esme Kim.
시작.
Esme is from Minnesota. She trains at the Kukiwon Taekwondo Academy with her coach, Young Kim. She has really good focus and nice height on her front kicks.
바로.
Gets a huge 6.8. That's Esme
Wow.
Kim, the highest score in the division.
시작.
She has some nice deep stances and really trying to fight to keep those heels on the ground. Whoa, high front kick here. She is doing a double pivot on some of these transitions, so she can start working on that. These mats we've mentioned aren't the puzzle mats that we normally compete on, so maybe she's sinking a little bit into
Okay.
them. But overall, really high score in the first one. Let's see how she does here on the second.
6.83. That is a nice spot to be. 6.815, so with a clear gap over the other competitors. What? Look here. This is Reagan Avery
시작.
going with the single spear. A nice start to take a paw jump. Nice height on her front kick there. Now 2 more to go. These are a little bit more hard, more difficult coming off the front leg.
Yeah, she's landing just a little bit short on these front stances, so making those a little bit longer and lock out that back leg will help her accuracy score, I think.
바로.
And Reagan gets a 6.0.
시작.
So still a little bit short here on some of these stances, especially these walking stances should have a whole foot gap between the feet. So not heel to toe, but a 12 inches or so, between. But the beginning, she looked way more confident. So I could definitely see the score going up a little bit here on the second one.
Well, let's see. So Reagan got a 6.0 on the first. She gets a 6.27. for the second. She'll finish with a 6.135. So like many of our divisions today, the range all in the sixes here.
Mm-hmm.
About a 6 or 6.1 to about a 6.8. This is Faith Dana.
시작.
Faith is from Virginia. She trains at US Tigers Taekwondo with her coach Dennis Kim.
She looks like she should be a dragon, like a mini dragon. Like
Right.
tiny. She must be turning 8 this year to be in this division.
Like maybe in December or something. Huh?
Right.
That was a
How
cool,
intense. Whoa.
very sharp turn. Like, whoa. You saw me over there. I'm gonna go over here now. Very cool.
Well, this is very exciting. She's our last competitor here. And we have a high score right now of a 6.8 from Esme.
Right, for this first form, 6.8. Let's see what she does. Oh, she gets a good one, 6.53. I think that's the third highest score.
Right, but really close, just a few hundredths off of Nicklin, who got a 6.57. So she's in the running here, anywhere between a 6.585 and a 6.815. She could be in second, third, somewhere around there.
Let's be looking sharp here. Nice high kick. She could go a little bit longer on some of these stances.
Yeah, especially as all of these young dragons and tigers are growing. I think they should err on the side of longer stances because they're going to grow and their stances will get shorter. So just go basically as deep as you can do a transition from.
That's a good idea. So Faith Dana had a 6.53 for the first form, and now very dramatic.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
6.8. That's the same score that Esme Kim got on the second form. That's definitely going to put her in a good spot here. 6.68, and I think that'll have her grab second place. Let's see. Yeah, so Esme Kim in first, followed by Faith Dana, Nicklin Pennington, Stella Flickinger, and Reagan Avery.
All right, so now we're getting into our youth finals. So back up to our 10 and 11-year-olds. This is going to be the female youth yellow belt finals.
준비.
Up first, we have Carolina Lim. Carolina's from New Jersey.
시작.
Trains at Apex Tiger Martial Arts and her coach Judith Dunn. Starting off with everybody's favorite tail jump. Oh, really good front kicks here. Really pushing up. Good height. Just need to make sure we have the correct foot position. Carolina starting us off with a big 6.8.
시작.
Well, Carolina says that her name is pronounced Carolina as in the state North Carolina. So good job, Coach Brand. Got that right. And her favorite stuffed animal is a German Shepherd puppy named Pup. She loves to read and learn new things. She loves bunnies and birds and recently learned how to solve a Rubik's Cube.
So
바로.
he has a dog named Pup.
No, a stuffed animal puppy
Sure.
named Pup.
Animal named Pup.
Correct.
Okay. That's great. Well, Carolina, she got a 6.8 the first time around. Look, another one. Make a pair. So that's going to be her final score. We have 4 athletes in this division. My guess is it's going to be close again, just like every single division in today's episode. This is Laura Feely. Laura's from Florida. As a matter of fact, all of the remaining athletes are from Florida. They're all from American Tiger Martial Arts and coached by Kathy Doe.
Laura's looking really sharp here. She was also really excited to be asked to be on the Poomsae team for her dojo, and I can
And Laura gets a 6.07.
시작.
Laura has also been dancing since she was 3 years old. She takes tap and jazz classes weekly, and she also is an artist who loves to draw and take art classes as well.
Great. Her hand technique's pretty accurate. Stance is sometimes a little short, especially with the walking stance. They're a natural stance. And she gets a 6.0. So she'll finish with a 6.035. Up next, her teammate, Daniela Silva.
시작. 바로.
Danielle getting a 5.83.
시작.
Oh, nice stance. I like this when you see this big definite difference between that walking stance and that front stance.
Right.
See that?
Yeah.
So we're trying to lengthen out.
She is doing a few heel pivots here. So something to work on. Oh, a little bit of a heel lift there too. But yeah, those front stance lengths are really great. Nice and low, grounded. So she just has to continue to work on some of those transitions.
Right, definitely the highlight, a few of those front stances. Good work to Daniela Silva. So she had a 5.83 for the first form and now 5.64. I think it might have had to do with some of those transitions you mentioned. So she's going to finish with a 5.735. And we have one more competitor in the division. This is Tae-hee Kim.
시작.
So again, all of these three athletes, Laura Feely, Daniela Silva, Tae-hee Kim from Florida, training at American Tiger Martial Arts.
And these, again, youth. So we've gone through the dragons, the tigers, and now we're at the youths. Youths are 10 and 11 years old.
And Tae gets close score to Daniela, 5.86. So just a bit over Daniela. Let's see how she does with the second form. It could be very close.
시작.
Some of her punches are a little bit high. Of course, with this form, we do get that high punch, but some of the regular punches are looking a little bit high. So yeah, that one actually looked like all of her punches. So regular punches, solar plexus height, high punches like temple, nose height. What are we going for there?
Right. So she has a few times where she's pivoting on her heel too, and that is going to impact her score. So in general, really good memory of the form, but look at that. She's able to boost her score up a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's going to definitely matter here. She's going to finish with a 5.93. So here are our standings in the female youth yellow belt division. First, Carolina Lim, followed by Laura Feely, Tae-hee Kim, and Daniela Silva.
Okay, now to the youth female green belt finals.
Up first, we have Lily Sakur from YH Park Taekwondo Academy. She's coached there by Alex Tercios.
Lily says one of her accomplishments in Taekwondo that she wants us to know about is perfecting a side split. And she's been working on increasing her flexibility, so she was pretty excited to get that.
Well, I'm a member of that club, so I'm training right alongside you, Lily. She gets a 6.04. You don't really have to even practice your stretching, right, Miyako?
We always need to practice our stretching. Lots of stretching, especially after workouts, right? Because you don't want to stretch if you're, especially as you get older. For them, they probably can, but you also want to stretch when you're warm so you don't pull anything. We can see actually off to the left of our screen here, maybe her parents or family and friends watching and cheering her on there in the reflection of the mirror, maybe. Lily also plays soccer, basketball, and lacrosse outside of Taekwondo.
Some cheering fans from the background there. 5.97 for Lily Sakor. And she'll finish with a 6.005. Up next, we have Gabby Hamilton.
준비.
Gabby's from Kansas.
시작.
She trains at Zhang's Taekwondo Martial Arts with her coach, Jehu Zhang.
바로.
Gabby gets a big score, 6.54.
Yeah, nice jump for her there. Nice gap. We do have 4 athletes though in the division, so we'll see how she does here on the second. A little bit harder form. We do open up with Taeguk Iljang, the first form they learn here now on number 3, Taeguk Samjang.
바로. 차렷. 경례.
So Gabby got a 6.54 for her first form and now a 6.36. Both very good scores. She's going to finish with a 6.45. And a little bit of a gap into first place. This is Liana Trotter. Liana trains at World Champion Taekwondo in Texas with her coach Nanyo Chu.
Well, Liana says that she's the first female on both sides of the family to compete in Taekwondo, but her maternal grandfather was a 5th dan in Korea and would have been very proud of her.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And look at that big score, 6.7. Very nice reach.
Liana also competed in the Puerto Rico International Virtual Open Poomsae Challenge where she got 3rd place. And she likes playing soccer, biking, the game Roblox, and her puppy.
More roadblocks. We've heard about that.
I know. I don't know what this is. I have to look it up.
As I leave here, I'm going to go find that game. And she gets a 6.7, another to make a pair. I think a lot of these athletes pivoting on their heels at green belt, one of the best things they can do for themselves is learn how to pivot on the balls of their feet to watch their score go up. It gets a 6.7. What happens over time as your feet get closer and closer together as you keep on your heels. This is Dondra Key from Hawaii. She trains with Dixon's Taekwondo and her coach, Irvin Dixon Jr.
Dondria is the 2019 Hawaii State champ for sparring. And during COVID, they've been pretty shut down there out there in the islands. But she's continued to do workout and practice via Zoom, which a lot of us are doing. So great job for her.
She gets a 5.9. It's close to Lily Sakur's second score at 5.97. Let's see if she can boost her score here.
Andrea also loves to draw and play video games outside of Taekwondo, of course.
Return. 차렷.
So Dandre Key from Dixon's Taekwondo in Hawaii got a 5.9 for the first form and now a 5.67 for the second. She'll finish with a 5.785. So here are our standings in the female youth green belt division. Liana Trotter in first, followed by Gabby Hamilton, Lily Sakur, and Dandre Key.
All right, and here we go with the youth female blue belt finals.
Up first, we have Kaylee Katayama. Kaylee is from Oahu Taekwondo Center in Hawaii. She's trained by Mr. and Mrs. Brian McCutcheon. So that's an interesting name, Katayama. That actually means, it's a Japanese word, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means form. It refers to a detailed choreographed pattern of martial arts movements. So it couldn't be any better.
Huh.
Wow, really nice side kick effort there. Trying to get that up high and with a clean foot position. She gets a nice high 6.83.
She has some nice high front kicks here.
Yeah, really high. And round kicks as well, really effortless.
Few heel pops here and there, but trying to push out the front stance length, it looks like, which looks good. We just got to keep the heels down in transition. Well, here we have another athlete who likes playing Roblox with an X. Swimming at the beach and playing with her older sister.
She's in the right place to play at the beach. 6.9 for her second form. Take a Gyuchang. So Kaylee Katayama is going to finish with a 6.865. Up next, we have Alexa Lee from California. She trains at KS Choi Taekwondo Center with her coach, Daniel Lee.
So this is Ojang. It's probably the highest form that these blue belts know. We get side kicks, we get front kicks, a bunch of hand techniques, right? We have to make sure we differentiate between the back fist to the face, the middle blocks to the shoulders.
Nice finish to take a Gojang for Alexa Lee. She gets a 6.64. Just under Kaylee Katayama, so she's going to need to push a little harder on the next form.
시작.
So according to my video game experts here, I see that Roadblocks is an online game platform and game creation system. it lets users program games and play games. So maybe that extra added programming part is what's getting all the kids excited. They get to program their own game.
That's very cool. Yeah, and we have so many young athletes who are doing programming and coding. So I'm sure that they're getting to do it now through things like games to make it fun, which is just so great. You know, we didn't have that when I was in school, so they're gonna rule the world in just a couple short years, I'm sure.
Sure.
경례.
So Alexa got a 6.64 and now boost up a little bit with a 6.66. And she'll finish with a 6.65. Up next, we have Penelope Hasemeyer from Missouri. She trains at Zhang's Taekwondo Martial Arts under her coach, Jaeho Zhang.
Penelope is a competitive team member working towards her black belt. And as part of that, she mentors junior belts and has also recently won a gold medal at a sparring tournament when those were happening in person.
Oh, nice try on the side kick. So that's Penelope Hasemeyer from Missouri. And she gets a 6.63.
Very close there.
Alexa Lees. Yeah, just under Alexa Lees.
시작.
So I actually didn't know that blue belts will compete with Taegeuk Yukjong. I normally think of Yukjong as like a red belt form, but I guess that red belts have 7 and 8, so blue belts do have to know 6 here.
They do have it, and a lot of athletes, when they become a blue belt, they only know up to Ojang. So it's kind of a spot for them that they have to wait until they pick up this form. And some of them don't pick it up till they're, advanced blue, that area there. So they have a little chunk of time where they're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern.
Well, and what a finals here to have 5 and 6 back to back, the two highest forms they know.
차렷. 경례.
That's tough. This is Penelope Hasemeyer. She got 6.63 and now a 6.53. So yeah, I wouldn't expect super high scores from this division because of the Poomsae is so difficult. She's going to finish with a 6.58. Up next, we have Ella Yi. Ella is from Florida, and she trains with the Ichthus Taekwondo team under her coach, Po Kyung.
시작.
This is like a huge living room. I am just looking around here. There's that piano. We got that massive, really cool dining table, and then all these fun puzzle mats.
Right. I can't help myself. I'm doing the same thing while I'm watching Ella, and it's like, yeah, there's a carpet mat. Looks maybe like some hardwood flooring in there. They got plenty of space for her to train and have some family time. So Ella gets a 6.17 for the first form.
시작.
Wow, nice quick. That front kick was up there very fast. The right one nice and high. See what I mean? She just really punches that right one up there.
Yeah, I think she has long legs for this youth division 10 to 11. I think she could lengthen out those front stances, just make them maybe even a foot longer. Make sure she's looking up at that kick on the round kick.
Right, and just the front kick, we need to make sure the foot is in the correct position when we get up there, meaning to really hit a target. So we really got to flex those toes back and that heel up. That's Ella Yi, and she got a 6.17 for her first form. So I'm interested to see how the referees score this one. This one a more difficult form. And look, she gets just a slightly lower score for that with a 6.13. So she'll finish with a 6.15, and we have one more athlete in the division. This is
준비!
Yi Zhang. And Yi Yang is from California. She also trains with this
시작!
Taekwondo team. You can see her logo in the back there. Looks like she's doing that. Oh, you know, for a moment there, I didn't realize that was mat because she was outside, but I see, yeah, she's got a nice wood grain mat to match the outdoors.
Yeah, those puzzle mats are fun with the wood.
Mm-hmm. Nice reach on those kicks.
들어!
So Yi Young's going to get a 6.37. So that puts her just above Ella Yi, our last competitor.
Yi Young, outside of
시작!
Taekwondo, likes swimming, and she says her goal is to join the swim team for her school. She also likes math, says math is very interesting. And she likes doing vocal, which I guess might be like a chorus, but since everything is online right now, all her school classes, she instead wants to try and learn guitar this summer. And being out there in California, you can probably relate to this. She says she's a sunshine girl, likes sports and all the interesting things.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was sunny out today, about 80 degrees
들어!
out here in Sacramento. Beautiful skies.
슛!
So earlier when we were
Turn it,
doing
turn it.
online, sometimes it was a little chilly outside, but now it's perfect weather. And Yi Young gets a 6.5 for the second form.
Nice jump up. Not many were able to do that.
Right, and she'll finish with a 6.435. So here are our standings at the end of the female youth blue belt division with Kaylee Katayama in first, followed by Alexa Lee, Penelope Hassemeyer, Yi Yang Zhang, and Ella Yi.
Now continuing with our finals here, we're going to have the youth female red belt final.
Up first, we have Racia Meza from Texas. She trains at Team Force Taekwondo with her coach, AJ Munoz.
And we did get to see these youth red belts in a semis. We
Right.
had like 10 athletes, I think. So it's nice now they get to do another two forms and get feedback from these international judges.
And Brazia's first score, 5.93. We talked
Really
about this
easy.
earlier. We talked about this earlier being a kind of a tough form for these red belts. All types of nuance techniques in this one. She's doing a good job right now, trying to move through them with all these interesting hand techniques.
Right. I was going to say it's easy to try and stand up really tall in this form, but we
Right.
actually have to sit low in all of those tiger stances and low front stances on the scissor blocks here. We want those low horse stances, but keeping our back nice and straight. So it is really a difficult form.
Right. I think sometimes you can get stuck in trying to do one or the other. You know, am I going to trying to go for those stances, or am I really going to concentrate on the hand techniques? So she gets a pair of 5.93s. Up next, we'll have Elena Sipsikas. I practiced that name all last night. Be ready. Elena is from YH Park Taekwondo Academy, and she trains there with her coach, Alex Torcios.
Doing a pretty good job of stacking the weight on those back stances. That is quite hard. Doing the front kick coming back. That also happens in Yukjong a lot, where you come back into a back stance after front kicks. A lot of athletes will kind of sit their weight in the middle, but she did a good job of stacking.
Right, she gets a good score too, 6.5.
stacking the weight, just for our color belts, if you haven't heard that term, it's where you're sitting in a back stance and your shoulder, your hip, your knee, your ankle, they're all in a line, like you're leaning against a wall rather than sitting centered weight like a horse stance.
Yeah, oftentimes something will be out of alignment, right? Either that back knee will be, finding its way leaning forward, or maybe the stance is too big, and so the weight is in the middle. All kinds of goofy things can happen with the back stance. Lena looking really good here. She got a 6.5 for the first one. And little drop here, 6.13 for the second. So she'll finish with a 6.315 and still in first right now. This is Priya Zhang. Priya is from Minnesota. She trains at Kukiwon Taekwondo Academy. It's her coach, Young Kim.
Priya likes to play volleyball, and so she's a big fan of, I'm gonna guess this pronunciation here is haiku, but it's H-Y-K-U-U. Have you heard of this? I have never heard of this.
Oh, I have not.
I know the Japanese poetry form of a haiku, H-A-I-K-U.
Well, I remember you orating a few of those. 6.6 for Priya Zhang. Maybe you can let us enjoy a haiku or two during this competition.
Well, I really prefer limericks. Limericks are my favorite form of short poetry. Let's see if I can remember one. There once was a man from Japan whose lines just never would scan. When told it was so, he said, yes, I know, but I always try and fit as many words in the last line as I possibly can.
Wow, good one. I think Priya's doing a much better job on Chiljang than you did on that limerick, no offense. Got that huge 6.6 for her first form, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what she gets on this one, see if she can hold that first place spot here.
And haiku might be a Japanese manga series, so we'll see if that's what she meant.
6.13. See, that's the same score Lena Sipsikas got on that.
Mm-hmm.
This is Elinelle Ong. And Elinelle's from Texas. She trains at White Tiger Taekwondo. Their coach Roy Kim and Senna Zhang.
Elinelle plays left outer field for a 10 and under softball team whose name is the Bomb Squad.
Hello.
That's cool. Wow, nice score, 6.54. So that's just above Elena and just below Priya. So if she can do better than 6.13, she's in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lena had a high score of 6.5 in the first form, but dropped all the way down to 6.13 on Chiljang. So if Elinelle can stay nice and high here, equivalent or higher, hard on a more difficult form, but let's see if she can do it. She also has her own YouTube channel called Supercharged Kids. And I'm not sure what she teaches, but she loves to play Roblox, collect plush toys, and she also volunteers to teach the Little Tiger class at her dojo.
That's great. Supercharged Kids. I want to check out that YouTube channel. And she gets 6.17. Boy, what a drop for all of these athletes with that second Poomsae.
It is a hard form for sure.
6.355. Well, up next we have Gabby West. Gabby is from North Carolina and trains at Tiger Kim's World Class Taekwondo with her coach Han Dong Yu.
Gabby just started Taekwondo in October of 2018, and she loves to read books. We actually have a lot of fan of books. We have a few Harry Potter fans so far.
Right.
바로
And Gabby gets a 6.57, and that is a big score. Just under Priya Zhang, 6.6.
시작.
Gabby's doing a pretty good job here going through these difficult hand techniques, the scissor blocks, and then this top line here, and then the last bar. Those horse dances, maybe not quite parallel feet,
바로
but we can't super tell from this angle, so she might get away with it for this time.
조연, 김연.
Well, she did well on the first one for sure. Gabby got a 6.57, and now less of a drop than many of the other athletes. So a 6.4, and that's going to have an impact. She's going to finish with a 6.485, and now into first place for Gabby West. Up next, we have Emma Huang. Emma's from California. She trains at Taekwondo Tigers Palo Alto with her coach, Haijin Zheng.
Emma loves bunnies and basketball, and she enjoys playing and learning NBA trivia.
Wow. Wonder if she specializes in what's happening right now, or maybe the time period where some of the great action was happening. 6.83, historically, like let's say with the Warriors, Steph Curry's 3-point shots, maybe something like that she's into. Right then in California, she's close to the action in Palo Alto, close to the action in San Francisco.
And because these ladies did have a semifinals, this order in the finals is the reverse order based on scores of the top 8 from semis. So we are sort of seeing the scores here go up, but of course there's always some mix-ups. Some people do really well with some forms, a little less well with others. But Emma here so far the biggest score by quite a gap with that 6.83 on her first one.
And she gets a 6.66. And finishing up with a 6.745.
New high score by a big gap there.
Right, so let's look at the standings. We have Emma Huang in first, followed by Gabby West, Priya Zhang, Elenel Ong, Elena Sipsikas, and Brizia Meza. Up next, we have Nabila Diorio.
시작.
Nabila submitted some fun facts here. She said that she influenced her mom to take Taekwondo classes, and both of them are competing in the US Open this year. She also, during quarantine, having all this extra time, says she developed her cooking skills, and overall, she's the best daughter anyone can have.
바로
Oh,
I'm not sure if she submitted that or if her mom submitted, but either way, I'm sure it's true.
yes, 7.07. Now that is a huge score.
Yeah, we're jumping up here. The last 3 athletes have really increased in scores on that first form. Ooh, those front kicks are great.
Oh, wow, and fast.
Nabila won gold at both the Summer of Poomsae and the Grand Slam, but here she was coming into finals in second place. So we'll see if she can sneak into first place and have a trio of golds for USA Taekwondo's online events, or if Devana Shin, who's our last athlete, can steal that gold place away from her.
바로
Well, she certainly
Great.
looks strong there. Kicking technique being the real highlight of that Poomsae. Quick, high front kicks, getting to 6.8, falling like everyone else just a bit on that last form. So Nabila will finish with a 6.935. And now we have, as you mentioned, the athlete that was coming into this in first, Devana Shin. Devana trains in Texas at World Taekwondo Center with Elva Adams and Lauren Lee.
Really nice alignment on those side kicks. Wow.
Alignment, nice hang, same thing on the front kicks. Could go deeper and lower on all of the stances, but really pushing up with those kicks. Hand techniques look real strong as well. So that's Devana Shin from Texas. And she gets a huge 7.4.
That is so big. Wow. The jumps from these last four athletes. Holy cow.
Now, I want to see if she can stay around the same for the second, which nobody's been able to do in this division.
Right. And as we are red belts heading into that black belt soon, consistency of the pathways is really important, right? So we have the ranking system where all of these tournaments coming up, you're going to get ranking points. And so the idea is the more consistent you are across all of the tournaments, the better your ranking point will be, and you'll be ranked higher in the US. But here, being consistent across forms is also really big. We've seen basically everybody drop a couple tenths to half a point on the second form. If she can be consistent on all of her competition forms, it's going to do a lot to help her.
Right. Prezio was able to stay the same at 5.93, but yeah, you're right. Everybody else took a significant hit on the second one. And look, she did it as well. Not a huge one, but a drop from 7.4 to 7.23. And that just shows you how difficult Taeko Chiljung is. It makes you appreciate it more. She's going to finish with a 7.315. So here are standings in the female youth red belt division. Devana Shin in first, followed by Nabila Diorio, Emma Huang, Gabby West, Priya Zhang, Eleniel Ong, Elena Sipsikas, and Brigitte Meza.
Now we have the female youth black belt final, another full stack here.
Yeah, we had a full stack here. Starting off with Natalie Emmerth from Connecticut. She trains at World Champion Taekwondo Amity with her coach, Hyun Kim.
Wow, Natalie is going to be testing for her third degree black belt this year. She's only 10 years old.
Wow.
I just got my third degree black belt.
Yeah, wow.
She has great reach on those side kicks. Wow.
바로
So Natalie starts us off with a 6.77.
시작.
Wow, now to finish it out with Taeguk Ijang.
No, they must be loving this. Probably done it thousands of times. So I'm guessing everybody's scores are going to be going up with Taeguk Ijang, kind of the reverse of what we saw with the last division.
Yeah, definitely.
쉬어. 차렷. 경례.
And there you have it, 6.96 for Natalie's Taegeuk jump. And she'll finish with a 6.865. Up next, we have Sophia Kim. Sophia is from Virginia.
To me.
She trains with the Icarus Taekwondo team with her coach, Hyun Tae Kim.
시작.
Wow, we're throwing a lot of power with the hand techniques.
And she opened up the first line with nice long front stances here, just a tad shorter, but doing a pretty good job overall. Whew.
Wow, I'm thinking nice high score for Sophia on this first form.
바로.
Yeah, she's kicking straight up. You know what? The arm is supposed to be parallel to the leg, so she can just throw that arm even more up to the moon.
Yeah, 7.14, already in the seventh with this second athlete.
시작.
Really clear, crisp finishes to her technique. A little bit of head nodding on some of the kicking techniques. It's chin dropping and head following, so just got to be careful on that.
We had a pretty big semis division for this group. I think it was like
Hello.
18 athletes or so. Now we have the top 8 in the finals. The top 6 of them got sevens
Sure. 차렷.
in that semifinal round. But here already, Sophia Kim going second, opening up with that 7.14.
Right, and now a little bit higher, 7.17. Up next, so let me say her final score is 7.155 if you're keeping track at home. Up next, we have Sophia Liu.
준비.
Sophia is from New York and trains at East Taekwondo with her coach,
진짜?
Jen Chao Liu.
Sophia has competed at the Summer Poomsae and the third Lentz Taekwondo, where I believe she won first place at both of those tournaments.
Wow, look at that, 7.3.
She's going to have to boost up here, though, if she wants to medal, because she's coming in
시작.
to the finals in 6th place. She did get a good score here, though, and she's looking very strong and clean. Great. These athletes all have great front kicks, geez.
Wow, well over her head.
바로. 쇼. 촬영. 경리.
And a big 7.43 for the second. So she's going to finish with a 7.365. This is Emma Navarro, and Emma
Jimmy.
is from California. She trains with Team Elite USA and her
시작.
coach Victor Chung.
Nice vertical side kick here, both sides. Front stance is a little bit short coming out of the side kicks. I think for these young athletes who have such good flexibility, it's not so much the kick itself, because everybody has the good flexibility, but it's getting into the stance afterwards.
Right. How did we get in that recovery position, right? We recovering in a nice clean stance, or we always making that a little bit too short. So Emma gets a 7.13, and that's a good score in this division. That puts her in about the third place spot for that first form. So she may need to amp it up here a little bit. Right, needs to go a little bit deeper on the stance.
Almost a little bit of a bounce there when she finishes the stance after the kick. So we want to just try and stay level, grounded through that whole last bar if we can.
So Emma gets a 7.26. Nice little lift for Tae Ki-jung. And she'll finish with the 7.195. Up next, we have Evelyn Chung. Evelyn is from Nevada, and she trains with the Wangale USA team under her coach, Sang-jae Lee.
Sure.
She has such great body control. The fingertips up nice and high on that punch, on the elbow to the face, looking up at the front kicks. Good control on the retraction here.
Right, nice accuracy on the hand techniques for sure.
바로.
Evelyn with a good score, 7.3. That
Sure.
Yeah, that's a tie there. So she needs to beat a 7.43 to go into first place here over Sophia Liu.
normally we'd say, boy, that'd be hard to do, but with Tae Ki-jung, anything's possible.
Right. It's so short. There's front kicks to go here. There's not a ton of difficult moves because it's the second form they learn.
And a lot of them have been practicing this almost since birth. So they have a really good shot at a high score.
Sure.
So that's Evelyn Chung. She got a 7.3 that tied her up with Sophia Liu for the first Poomsae. So let's see how she does at the second. 7.34. So she'll finish with a 7.32. So that's just under Sophia Liu's total score. This is Noelle On. Noelle's from California, and she trains also with Wangale USA under her coach Sang-jae Lee.
Noelle is a figure skater, and she's also diagnosed with something called cold urticaria, which basically means that she's allergic to the cold. And it's a real diagnosis. She says she's a figure skater who's allergic to the cold. She breaks out into hives and fevers when she's really, really cold. She can't go swimming in cold water, but she loves ice skating so much that she still manages to go out and skate several hours a day.
Wow, what a warrior. Just does what she's not supposed to probably be doing. 7.33.
New high score there.
It sure is. Our last competitor, Evelyn Chung, had a 7.3, so Noelle On with a little bit higher, 7.33. Wow, look at that kick. Straight up. But like many of the athletes, probably could go out a little bit more on these stances.
Try and keep those feet grounded on the transition. So instead of picking it up and dropping it down on that little twist in the middle there, she should just glide those feet. So she needs here a 7, higher than a 7.4 to take first place over Sophia Liu.
Let's see. Oh, 7.43.
Man,
That
this
is
is
the same
tight.
score. Yeah, that is the same score that Sophia Liu got on the second form. She gets a 7.38. So that is going to put her in first. So So there she is. Noelle on in first so far with Sophia Liu right behind Evelyn Chung, Emma Navarro, Sophia Kim, and Natalie Emmerth. But we still have two athletes to go. The first is Mika Chi. Mika's from California and trains at Taekwondo Kids with her coach Jin Sunu.
Mika got her black belt in April of last year and then immediately competed in the summer of Poomsae where she got a bronze and the Pan Am Open where she got a bronze. But outside of Taekwondo, she also takes computer programming classes, world history classes, honors math, writing, and Chinese classes outside of regular school.
Honors math, I wonder what that looks like at such a young age.
Well, you have to know some math to do coding, I guess.
Yeah, 7.27 for Mika Chi. So she's going to need a big boost here if she wants to jump into that first place spot.
It's a good idea starting so forward on the mat so that she's big in our screen. We can see her
Right.
and all of her techniques.
Yeah, very strategic move.
Whew. Mika also likes art and writing, and she is starting to write a book on Kindle Create at 10 years old.
The book is on Kindle Create.
Yeah,
Huh.
maybe we can all go check it out soon.
Maybe it's about Piper Kindle, also from California, that same area. So Mika got a 7.27, and now look at that, very nice jump, 7.4. So she'll finish with a 7.335. And our final competitor in the division is Kata Arion. Kata is from North Carolina, and she trains with Aileen Salzberg.
Kata loves eating udon and sushi, and of course, drinking boba tea.
All super popular with Poomsae athletes.
Right. She also loves freestyle Poomsae and tricking, so that's great.
Nice reach on those side kicks.
And Kata's 11, so hopefully next year she can compete in that freestyle division, which is 12 to 17.
She gets a 7.3 for her first form. So now with just Taega Ijong left to go, so much on the line for these young athletes.
시작.
This is a major event from USAT, so the winner will be getting a lot of points, 120.
That's right, because we do have a full division. And that major is going to be important. We do have a bunch of tournaments coming up. We have the Grand Prix Series in June, Nationals in August, and then some Grand Prix Finals, Grand Slam Invitational throughout the rest of the year. But getting a major win puts you on the national team roster. So for our top athletes here, that's really what they're going for.
So let's see, she gets a 7.37.
Oh man, this is so tight here in the
We're
top
gonna switch
four
around.
athletes.
Right. I think things might switch around here, 7.335. So here are our standings at the end of the division here. Noelle on in first, followed by Sophia Liu, Mika Chi, Kata Arion, Evelyn Chung, Emma Navarro, Sophia Kim, and Natalie Emmerth.
Ooh, here we go with the over 70 female black belt final. I am excited for this division.
Right, I've been really looking forward to this division.
Me too.
Up first, we have Mitzi Ross from Maryland. She trains at Capital Martial Arts with her coach Khaled Saleh. This is a brand new division for us. A lot of athletes and coaches have advocated for this division. It's really nice to see that all that advocating has resulted in our over 70 division playing out here at US Open.
Right. And Miss Mitzi here, I know I was helping her record her forms. She hasn't competed in something like 30 years or something.
Oh, welcome back.
She trains the Poomsae team at Capital Martial Arts, but hasn't herself competed in a long time. So I was really excited to see her here compete for the first time in so many years.
Right. I think one of the things that as adults, as we train, we just have to make sure that we relax, right? She's at 5.83. And as you're recording, there's a little bit, especially if you haven't done it in a while, a little moment of being self-conscious, right? And then when you're self-conscious, then you get a little tight. So then as you loosen up, you get used to it. The stances get longer, hand techniques get a little bit, more extended.
Right. That was a nice long side or front stance.
Right. So this is not an easy Poomsae Pyongwon.
Yeah. What a finals here. Tebek and Pyongwon for these 70 plus athletes. And a fun fact for Mitzi is that she started Taekwondo because her son, when he was 7, liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So he wanted to do martial arts, and she looked up the best studio in the area, ended up at Capital, and joined with him, and has been there ever since.
Shot.
Well, Mitzi looked great on a tough form, Pyongwon. So she got a 5.83 for her first form, and now a little bit higher, 5.9, and that's not easy to do with Pyongwon.
Yeah.
The score would drop down a little bit. So she has some accuracy things that she can work on based on the score, but looking good here, and she gets a 5.865. Next is Erica Linthorst. Erica is from New York, trains at CT Cheongdeokwan with her coach, David Turgeon. So Erica is one of the advocates of this division coming about. So thanks for doing that, Erica. It's really going to impact a lot of our athletes. It's looking good here in Tebek.
Right. And one of the things that she petitioned for was to have this 70 plus division, which we have here. But another thing that is added, if you check out the Grand Prix series, they did add a 50 plus division for pairs and teams. You can't get a national team spot for those because the WT doesn't recognize it, but we do have that opportunity now to have pairs and teams at 50 plus. So that's really cool.
Right. And both of these divisions are, the subject of conversations going back years. So it's nice to see it happening. 6.8 for Erica Linthorst. And she's done a ton of these online tournaments. So she is now quite strategic about how she's recording herself, where she's positioning herself. She knows where she's going to look her best.
Yeah, you said she's done a lot, and she has done a lot. She's done 18 competitions in 2020 and up to already 12 competitions in 2021. It's only 3 months in, and she's done 12 tournaments.
But she, it's really making her stronger. Over probably the last couple of years, I've seen more growth with Erica than any other time. And I think that online experience is really paying off.
She also plays tennis.
Yeah, it just goes to show you put in the work, you're going to get the results. Of course, it has to be smart work with smart coaches. Right, and another 6.8. So she and her coach, Dave Turgeon, probably really happy with this performance. Good score, gets a pair of 6.8s out of it. And also good, strong performance from Mitzi Ross as well, coming in second there. Welcome to the division. Hope she really had a lot of fun and will continue.